better daily, where we work hard in our minds, bodies, and our spirits to become 1% better every single day. Download the app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.live to catch the video version of these podcasts. Here's your host and my dad, Alex Van Houten.
What's up, Betterment family? This is Alex Van Houten in Better Daily Live. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, and I'm very excited to hang out with you this evening. I know it's weird to see me in the evening. Usually we do this thing in the morning, but I appreciate you joining me this evening. Anyway, I'll tell you why for the delay in just a second. What's up, KT? Thanks for joining us this evening. So it's Wednesday, and this is a strange, well, I won't say strange. It's a little different. It's a little different than what we've been doing on Wednesdays. If you've been following Better Daily Live for a bit, we've been doing what's called a Wild Wednesday. And Wild Wednesday was an opportunity for me to kind of rehash something I had done in the past, whether it was a Bible study, whether it was an interview with an expert I figured required maybe a different spotlight or a different way of thinking about the conversation, or rehashing things that we had done in the past through Defining Dad Bod, which was my first podcast venture that was particularly relevant to what we were talking about at the time. And so during the Faithful 40 Challenge, we've started a new series, and this is Wednesday. And on Wednesday, we have gone live with Scott Hammonds, we've gone live with Pat Lee, and we've talked through some of their wins with their experience in the Faithful 40 Challenge and Better Daily, and then also what they've been working on this Faithful 40 Challenge and what they're looking forward to in their goals. And today, I'm excited to bring to you a story from our community, and I didn't get to get her on with me live for a number of reasons, but that's okay. That is okay. I'm going to share her story anyway, and if she wants to claim it, great. Otherwise, I'll just let you guys enjoy the story. What's up, Scott? Thanks for joining us, man, because it is a winning story, and I think it has something for you. So hang with me. The reason I'm delayed is Gabriel got in trouble this morning. He's been, well, those of you who are parents have probably encountered this at one time or another. Why is lying bad? Why lie? And I have two very intelligent young boys, and so they both lied early on. That's actually a sign of intelligence, or at least that's what the research says, and that's what I tell myself when we deal with lying in our house, because I hate being lied to. It's like one of the things that just drills into my soul and just turns a little, because we build our house on trust and honesty, and I'm very authentic and honest with my children, and I expect the same thing back, and I would like to treat them the same. And so anyway, Gabriel, he's getting good enough that you can't tell he's lying when he's lying, because, well, I mean, that's not a good thing to be good at, but you can't fault the kid, right? Well, you can fault the kid. I have faulted the kid. That's why I was in a really crummy mood this morning. It's hard to articulate. Why not lie? Because if the truth is going to be painful, like if you already know that you've done something wrong and you're trying to avoid getting in more trouble, so you decide to lie about it, it feels in the moment like you're going to get away with it. That the truth would have been more painful than lying about it. And, we as individuals have to wrestle with that on a regular basis. Do I deal with the pain of the truth now? Or should I tell a falsehood to cover my tracks and maybe get me out of it? Who knows? Maybe you'll never find out. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I will have successfully bent the fabric of reality and avoided the pain of the truth. And unfortunately for Gabriel, he's learning that the very, very important Bible verse, beware your sin will find you out. That's God's way of saying nobody ever gets away with anything. And things that hide in the dark tend to fester and become a bigger problem than you could have ever imagined. And it might have been painful to tell the truth, but it's always more painful to lie. Whew. Anyway, that's what we were dealing with this morning. So maybe that'll work its way into a shortcast soon when I'm further away from it. But the young man has learned his lesson, and I'm very excited to tell you that as of right now, he's very reformed. So jokes aside, though, it's very, very difficult. I'd like to hear from you if you're catching this this live. I know this isn't Wednesday. I guess the win is that we've reconciled and he's learned his lesson. And as for the moment, he's very committed to telling the truth, having learned the lesson that lies are very painful. But that said, I'd love to hear from you. What did you do? If you're a parent right now, what have you done about lying in your household? And if you're not a parent right now, but you have been a parent in the past, or you have some interesting memories of childhood, what were the consequences of lying in your house? Because it's very difficult. It's a very hard lesson to learn because it's a very attractive temptation. But anyway, I was explaining to Gabriel, the reason you've been lying is because you believe that the pain of lying is less than the pain of telling the truth when the truth is hard. And you're finding out the hard way that that's not true. And that you thought the pain of lying was going to be less because you didn't imagine how painful things could be in the future for you. You didn't imagine the things you might miss out on. You didn't imagine the consequences of telling the lie and the consequences of those in your life feeling betrayed by you. And I mean, that's a lot for a 6-year-old to wrap his head around, but I think he's getting there. Scott says, that face. What did I do? Did I give you the dad face? Look out. So thank you guys for listening to that. And thanks for the grace to let me go live this evening. I hope this is edifying to you. Now, Wednesday. This is such a cool story. Okay. So I'm working with a client right now that I've worked with for a year and a half, and she's been a member of the Better Daily community for a while. And that lady has been through quite the journey. I have to pause. KT says, we got our mouths washed out with soap. I had a mouth washing out with soap parent. Hers was specifically with regard to bad words out of the mouth. And so I ate a lot of soap because my siblings told on me. Where'd you hear that, Alex? Oh no, don't tell on me. Soap in the mouth. Yeah. Dial tasted terrible. Anyway, so this woman, she has been on an amazing journey. And, if you asked her, if you met her in the grocery store or something like that, you said, hey, how's your betterment journey going? How's your fitness journey going? How are you pursuing better? She would have a pretty humble response. She'd be like, oh man, I have a long way to go. I'm doing some good things for myself, but I'm nowhere near where I'd like to be. Because she's a humble kind of lady and she's had some setbacks. This individual and I have been working together for a year and a half. And when we first started working together, she could barely walk without pain. She really did. We were doing a very simple exercise called a bird dog, which you're on your all fours on the floor and you're reaching one arm out, one leg out, and you're trying to stabilize through your lats and your glutes to make your spine work. And she couldn't do it. She couldn't get to the full range of motion. She couldn't hold herself up. She was very shaky. Getting up and down off the ground was just terrible for her. She was in a really rough place. It was post-surgery, lots of pain. She wasn't really quite herself mentally and memory-wise because of the medication she was taking. It was a very rough start. It was definitely square one. Some people start at square one. She would tell you she started at square -10. So we started at square one. And we started to see some progress. Started to see very good progress through her weight training, through her cardiovascular exercise. She went back to the doctor 4 months after that post-op appointment. And the doctor's like, what happened to you? Like, you're walking, you're moving well, you have strength, you have flexibility, you're not in pain anymore. What happened to you? She's like, I'm lifting weights. Can you believe it? She's an old Southern belle. So she's like, I'm lifting weight. I know how to deadlift. Do you know how to deadlift? I know how to deadlift. I've started deadlifting. And she's so excited about her progress because her doctor's like, I don't know what happened to you. And I honestly I wouldn't have recommended weights for your position, but keep doing that. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. This is the most progress I've seen in a post-op patient in your condition. And it was a steady upward, powerful trajectory for her. And it went really well for about 8 months. She was seeing weight loss progress. She was seeing cardiovascular progress. She started running again, and she hadn't run in 35 years, right? And she started lifting, and everything was feeling good and moving forward and stuff. And then she wrecked her ankle. She took a wrong step outside and kind of missed the stair and it fell. Oh, it was terrible. And poor thing, she had made such progress, and at the same time, all of a sudden now she found herself in a boot. She couldn't run. Her lifting was kind of set back a little bit. She was in pain. And then I don't know if you've ever hurt an ankle, but wearing a boot, like one of your legs is like this and one of your legs is like this, and you kind of walk like a pirate a little bit. If you're in that position, I'm not making fun of you, it's real. So it actually messes up your hips. And then if you've had back surgery and your back is prone to inflammation and pain, your hips do this number two. And so like her back was starting to hurt again, and she was starting to get in a really rough place. Well, we rehabilitated that. Took us about 2 months, but we got her back on track. And then she got COVID, and man, it wrecked her for some months, man. It was one of those things that she'd recover a little bit and then end up in a rough spot, and then she'd recover a little bit and end up in a rough spot. And there was some stuff going on in the family and some difficult things too that weren't making things any easier. And she was in a rough place. And throughout this entire journey, she'd been part of Better Daily. And she would tell you, hey, I wish I interacted more often, but I don't. I use Better Daily to, she's told me this before. I use Better Daily. I open it up and I read some mindsets, and I open it up and I look for the prayers that Kat has posted, or I open it up and I see some encouragement from Pat, or I open it up and I see a post from KT, and it gives me something to hold on to when I'm in a bad headspace, and it changes my attitude, and it helps me quit feeling sorry for myself, and reminds me of what I set out to do, which is to be better. And she's wrestled a lot. She's a little later in her years, and there are times when she doubts herself. She would say something along the lines of, what am I doing? But she does it, and she does it well, and she does it to the best of her ability despite the setbacks. Why am I telling you this story? Well, recently, one of her very, very important and close family members was diagnosed with cancer, and it's a rough situation. It doesn't look great. She's keeping faith, but it doesn't look great. And it's a difficult situation. And she sent me a message this week, and was talking about Alex, this family member of mine. She needed help getting up and going to the bathroom, and she needed help walking down the stairs, and she needed help. And she said, I am so glad that we've done like 10,000 deadlifts. Because I had to deadlift this family member. I had to pick him up, and I had to brace my core. And I kept thinking, okay, sit back in my heels, squeeze my butt, breathe. And this family member does not want to be up and moving around, but this is one of the things that family member really needs to be doing. And so I found myself saying things that you've said to me. Get up. I know it really sucks. I'm sorry, but we got to get our steps in. We've got to walk over here. Let's get in the sunshine. It'll be good for you. Just take some deep breaths. Hang with me. She was saying all these things, and she wrote me this message, and she said, thank you, because this is something that I was training for, that God was training me for. And I didn't even know that he was training me for. And I wouldn't be able to be doing this if it wasn't for what we've been up to, and the encouragement that I've found in this community, and the training that we've done. And so I'm holding back sports tears here, because in my heart and mind, this is an exemplary story of what this whole 1% better thing is all about. When we start out on this whole journey thing, when we start going, hey, I could be better than I am right now. Maybe I need to lose weight. Maybe I need to lift weights. Maybe I'm in pain and I know I don't need to be. Maybe I'm eating like garbage and I don't know where to start, but like I can do something about that. We know when we look in the mirror, we know that we're not making the most of what we have. We know that we're not being good stewards of everything we've been given. And the hardest part is we don't even know how to make progress sometimes. But we show up and we give our best effort at that one little percent. The bird dog you can't do, or the walk you don't feel like doing, but you do it anyway, or the deadlift that's difficult, and the lifts that start to burn, and showing up day in and day out, doing, well, some of the same things you've always done, just with a different mindset. And that one little percent starts to progress you, starts to make things a little bit better. You don't always know why, you don't know where it's going, but one day you're able to do something that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if you weren't ready for this, well, nobody else was going to do it. There was nobody who could have filled that gap but you, and the better self that you've created over this period of time, the hard work that you've put in that molds you and changes you for the better. And man, well, that person knows who she is. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for the message. Thank you for recognizing your own hard work. And thank you for continuing to show up, even when it's been difficult, even despite the setbacks. And I hope that you'll continue that, because even though you're going through a rough time right now, I hope you see what a blessing you are to yourself and the people in your life, because you've been ready, or You've been preparing. Let's call it that. So thank you guys very much for joining me on this Wednesday. And thank you very much also for being the kind of community that can come alongside people even when you don't know you're doing it. It can come alongside people that you share your journey in a way that other individuals can draw strength from, can appreciate, and continue moving forward, because our world does not lend itself to betterment by default. It's not the default state of humanity to look out in the world and go, gee, I'm feeling really rough today. Has anybody got a slap on the butt for me? Can anybody point me in a better direction? Can anybody model for me what it looks like to carry my cross well? And I'm not saying there aren't examples, but they're not always easy to find. And in this group, they are easy to find. This group is full of amazing people who are dealing with something just difficult and awful and hard and terrible. And yet we're not perfect, but we're making progress. Man, I'm just so thankful for you guys. Thank you for being that kind of community. I hope you'll double down on that. I hope you'll double down on your progress as an individual, controlling the things you can't control, shining a spotlight on the things that need to be improved, being a good steward with the things that God has given you, and share it. Share it in the way that you're comfortable sharing it, so that other people can benefit and be encouraged, because it's happening, even if you don't know about it. Guys, this has been Alex Van Houten in Better Daily Live. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for making this a winning place to be. Tomorrow's Word Thursday, and I'm really looking forward to bringing you on a word journey with some meditations that'll be helpful. Until then, it's just 1%. You got this.
Thank you for joining us for your 1% Better today. Don't forget to subscribe for the podcast. Leave us a raving review to tell others how Better Daily has helped you in your journey. If you want more Better Daily, download our app and join our Betterment family at betterdaily.live. Use code POD to get 25% off your subscription. That's POD, all caps, to save 25% on your subscription. We all have a cross to carry. It's lighter when we do it together. Go to betterdaily.live today.